He built an empire in only 5 years. Cities surrendered to him. Armies feared him. Kings negotiated with him. He seemed unstoppable. Yet within months, everything collapsed. Not because he lacked intelligence, not because he was defeated in battle, but because of one hidden weakness buried beneath all his success. A weakness so dangerous that ambitious people still fall victim to it today. This is the story of Cesare Borgia, the man Machiavelli admired most, and the single mistake that destroyed everything he built. Cesare Borgia was born into one of the most influential families in Renaissance Italy, a time when political power, wealth, and religious authority were deeply connected. As the son of Pope Alexander VI, he was expected to pursue a career in the church rather than on the battlefield. Following his father's plans, Cesare was appointed a cardinal at a remarkably young age, giving him status and influence that most men could only dream of achieving. Yet despite these privileges, he felt constrained by the religious life. He had little interest in church ceremonies or spiritual leadership. Instead, he was fascinated by politics, military strategy, and the pursuit of power. Determined to shape his own destiny, he made the unusual decision to leave the church and enter the dangerous world of warfare and statecraft. Supported by his father's resources and influence, Cesare began conquering territories across central Italy, laying the foundation for what would become one of the most remarkable rises to power in Renaissance history. Cesare's success did not come from brute force alone. Many rulers had armies, but few possessed his strategic mind. He understood that power was as much psychological as military. When cities resisted, he demonstrated strength. When allies remained loyal, he rewarded them generously. When commanders betrayed him, he acted decisively and publicly. One famous betrayal ended with a carefully planned execution that sent a message throughout Italy. The punishment was harsh, but it created stability and discouraged future conspiracies. Rather than ruling through chaos, Cesare used fear in a calculated way. His reputation grew rapidly. Rivals became cautious. Supporters became confident. Territory after territory fell under his control. To many observers, he seemed like a leader who understood exactly how power worked. Among those observers was a young diplomat named Niccolo Machiavelli. Machiavelli spent years studying rulers, generals, and politicians. Most leaders, he believed, allowed emotions to control their decisions. They reacted impulsively to threats and often weakened themselves through indecision. Cesare appeared different. When Machiavelli observed him, he saw a man who remained calm under pressure and acted with purpose. Cesare seemed capable of balancing mercy and cruelty, generosity and punishment, diplomacy and warfare. Every action appeared designed to strengthen his position. Machiavelli admired this discipline because it reflected many of the principles he would later describe in his writings. To him, Cesare looked like the model ruler, a man capable of creating order in a chaotic political world. Yet beneath this impressive image existed a weakness that even Machiavelli recognized. The foundation supporting Cesare's empire was not nearly as strong as it appeared. Behind every victory Cesare achieved stood one crucial reality. Much of his power came from his father. Pope Alexander VI provided money, political influence, legitimacy, and access to powerful networks. Without that support, Cesare's rise would have been far more difficult. At first, this arrangement seemed beneficial. After all, having the Pope as a father offered enormous advantages. But advantages can hide dangers. The more Cesare depended on papal support, the more vulnerable he became. To his credit, he understood this problem and tried to reduce the risk. He built his own military forces, strengthened local alliances, and worked to establish authority independent of Rome. Yet these efforts required time. Unfortunately for Cesare, time was exactly what he did not have. Events were moving toward a crisis much faster than anyone expected. In 1503, disaster struck. Cesare and Pope Alexander VI attended a dinner in Rome, and shortly afterward both men became seriously ill. Historians continue debating whether poison or disease caused their condition, but the consequences were undeniable. Pope Alexander VI died. Cesare survived, but only barely. As his father was buried, Cesare remained weak, bedridden, and unable to respond to the political chaos unfolding around him. The timing could not have been worse. At the exact moment when strong leadership was needed, he was physically incapable of acting. Rivals sensed opportunity. Former allies began questioning their loyalties. Cities started considering independence. The empire that had taken years to build suddenly faced instability from every direction. The illness itself did not destroy Cesare's power. It merely exposed a weakness that had always been there. Today, business strategists and risk management experts use a term known as a single point of failure. It refers to a situation in which an entire system relies heavily on one critical component. As long as that component remains intact, everything appears stable and successful. However, if it suddenly disappears, the entire structure can begin to collapse. Cesare Borgia's empire serves as a classic historical example of this principle. To the outside world, he looked nearly unstoppable. He commanded powerful armies, controlled valuable territories, and had built a reputation that inspired both fear and respect throughout Italy. Many believed his position was secure, yet beneath this impressive image existed a hidden weakness. Much of his power ultimately depended on a single source: the influence and authority of his father, Pope Alexander VI. When that support vanished, the stability of his empire vanished with it. This lesson remains relevant today. Companies that depend on one major customer, careers tied to one employer, or leaders relying on a single powerful ally, all face similar risks. Success can hide vulnerability, and the stronger the dependence, the more devastating the consequences when that support is suddenly removed. The final blow to Cesare Borgia's ambitions came after the election of a new pope. Following the death of his father, Pope Alexander VI, Cesare desperately needed a successor who would protect his interests and preserve the political influence he had spent years building. For a brief moment, he believed he could still maintain control of his territories. However, events unfolded against him. Instead of gaining an ally in the Vatican, one of his longtime political enemies rose to the papacy. This single development changed everything. The support system that had once protected Cesare vanished almost overnight. Sensing weakness, former allies quickly distanced themselves from him, while rivals who had once feared his power began openly challenging him. Territory after territory slipped from his grasp. His enemies seized opportunities that had previously been impossible. Eventually, Cesare was arrested, imprisoned, and forced into exile. The fall was dramatic. Only months earlier, he had stood among the most powerful figures in Italy. Years later, he died in Spain during a minor military conflict. His empire disappeared, but his story remains a timeless warning about the dangers of relying on borrowed power. More than 500 years later, Cesare Borgia's mistake still destroys careers, companies, and ambitions. The lesson is simple. Never build your future on foundations you don't control. Build skills, relationships, and a reputation that belong to you. So tell me in the comments, what is more dangerous, relying on borrowed power or mistaking fear for loyalty? If you enjoyed this story, subscribe for more lessons from history's greatest leaders and strategists. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.